Welcome to Trading Lounge and the Asian report, and starting with the ASX 200 here on the weekly chart. Just to go over a few points here that we're looking at wave 4 low here, and we're looking at either wave 5 top being in place here with wave 1 moving down, ABC back for wave 2, and the current move up would just be the A wave, so the first move up, and then we'd see the move back down and so on. The other point is that wave 3 is here, and an A and a B and a C wave here, and wave 4 here, and going straight up for wave 5. In the same case, we would still see the same scenario happen. We'd see this move up, this will top out soon, and pull back here, and then push up through here in a stronger third wave here, fourth and fifth wave moving up into that space there. So they're the two main counts there. We do have, if I go to the daily chart here for a moment, we do have a US count that has this wave 4 sitting over here and wave 5 here, with this as wave 3 here. I know this is annoying, and this move up here is very difficult to count. We're going to have a look at that in a bit of detail on the cash market as well. But it is possible that we can just come to the... We're going to run into resistance at the top here anyway, okay? So it will take some time to actually figure out what we've actually got here. Do we just come back down 50-60% and then move back up? So an A and a B and a C, an A and a B and a C, or up for 1 and back for 2 and up for 3. But it is possible to have another low in through here before moving up, taking consideration all this. But I can count it quite comfortably and nicely with wave 3 here, 4 and 5 here. But yeah, that's a picture in the US that I can't just shake off just yet. So we have to be aware of this. So when I'm not too sure of what's actually happening, and there are plenty of moments like that, we need to drill into strategy and trade, but having an awareness of certain counts. So they're all the counts. In whichever way we look at it, all of those three counts we just looked at, we're going to be running into resistance here shortly. It will be interesting to see. The US was a little bit soft in their sessions, so we'll end up seeing that reflected in here on these old highs here. But Friday can be the bullish day, so especially in an uptrend. So let's just allow the market, I suggest allowing the market to open and give it 15-20 minutes and see which direction it takes from that point. So normally you would have the squeeze, which on the futures market, which can take 15-18 minutes, and once that's over, then the market can find direction after that. So if Friday's pushing up, well, then we'll see sort of Monday pushing up as well. So on the 4-hour chart here, we're still in a good trend to the upside. I'm just having difficulty counting this here. It can be counted as corrective, and it can be counted as an impulse wave here. So yeah, it's a little bit sort of tricky. I'm going to go to the hourly chart here. I do think there's actually a little bit further to go up here, coming back, resting on the 9, and then pushing up here. So I've counted it as corrective, but it certainly can be counted as a positive count. We could count 5 waves up here, and I'll show you that in a moment. But I've had it as an A and a B here, then 1 and 2 and 3, and wave 4 across here, and one more another. Wave 4 could actually be sitting in here as well, but this here has got overlapping wave structures, so I've got to try and treat it as a triangle pattern, and then moving up through here. So the point here is that if you're long here, that's fine. Just keep the stop under this last low here, And let's just see how the 5,900 is treated. You know, we may get a breach down through here, but we wouldn't turn short unless the reference point low here is actually breached after that, because I still think that Friday can produce a bit more upside here. So in terms of counting this here, yeah, because I mean it's interesting in this little space here because obviously we've got 1 and 2 and 3 here, but when I look at the cash market here, we can count 5 waves up into this space here, leaving this as a larger wave 4, so we can have this as wave 1 and 2 here, and 3 here, and 4 here, and 5 over here, and I'll just show you that here. So wave 1 here and wave 2 on the cash market. This is a 15-minute chart. A nice strong third wave here, an A and a B and a C for wave 4, and then moving up here for wave 5. And in this move up here, we'll have to treat this as wave 1 here and wave 2 here, and then we're in the third wave here, and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 here, and then 5 up here, and then wave 4, and then wave 5 again. So it can take us higher up into towards the 6,000 there without too much problem. Also having trouble counting this in here, so it's easier on the cash market, and the cash market is pointing higher. Yeah, let's just see how like I say, let's just see how the market stabilizes after the first 20 minutes. Okay, and if Friday closes strong, well then Monday's likely to follow through as well. So we're in an uptrend with all this here, so we don't particularly want to fight it. We just need to take the next logical step. I'll have a look at CBA because CBA is 10% of this index, and this rally is based on the bank. So let me just get here. So on the daily chart here, this is a daily chart for CBA. In counting this down through here, the logical count would be the way that I've got it here, would be wave B up here with 1 and 2 here, and then 1 and 2, because it's got overlapping wave structures there. I can't call this 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5 down here because it just doesn't figure that way. So so counting this as 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 here, and wave 4 does overlap this particular wave 1 here, so that does break the Elliott rule there. And then the move down through here, so I can count 5 waves in this move coming down through here as wave 1 here, an A and a B and a C for wave 2, and then 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 5 here for the third wave, the fourth wave, and the fifth wave. Got 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 5 here for this. So this move up through here so far is just in 3 waves. This is the 38.2% retracement level here, and this wave 4 here would be larger in size than the previous wave 4 of 1 lesser degree here. So really, when you look at this amount of price action in here compared to this, we're still too small here for this, aren't we? So this could rally further from this particular point here before we see this further downside. And of course, 38.2% retracement level is just a target area. We may end up at the 75 with this. I don't have 5 waves up here. I just have 3 waves up here. So if I look at the hourly chart first, I've got an A and a B and a C wave 3. I mean, it could turn into 5 waves, and possibly so, but there's only 3 waves so far in here for this. So I just thought I'd point out where that driving's coming from. And when we go over to what's next, we can look at China here. China, we're looking at this as an A wave and a B wave and a C wave, as you know. This does give us a reference point low here to short here, but I've just put a really thin line through here. It will probably come down a little bit further through here, but I don't think that we should get into shorting this until we're under the 11,000 here in this case, because of just because of the other markets, and also this is also the 50-60% retracement level, and I don't think Hong Kong has actually finished its correction, as I've been pointing out before as well. So with Hong Kong here, we're looking for an A wave, a B wave, and a C wave here. Yes, we are long here. We do have to protect So I'm just putting it under this particular low here. You might want to bring it down a little bit further. I don't know how much how much exposure that you'd want to take on board, but we do see this as an impulse wave here with an A and a B and a C wave here, and then back up. And this is the 38.2% retracement level here. So I still see further to go with all of this here. And Japan and the Nikkei. So starting with Japan here. So I mean, this whole pattern here, you know, yeah. I mean, it's possible to I don't know if I've got it on the weekly. No, I haven't. I've still got it here as well. I mean, it's a long shot, but it is possible to have wave 5 here, and having this down for wave 1 here. But I'm not going with that just yet, because we've got wave 4 with all the other markets, and obviously this is sort of turning out to be either an expanded flat or a triangle pattern. So for the triangle pattern, we would see the A, the B, the C, the D wave here, which would be in 3 waves, and then an E wave here, which would be in 3 waves, and then we'd see a move up from that point. If we do have a top in here, like we talked about with the Australian market, well, then we'll see this is an A and a B and a C coming up here, and then we'd be moving down from that point. But this structure in here, it could, you know, it can end in a triangle pattern, but yeah, it just hasn't got the right look and feel about it for me at this stage, I'm afraid. So on the daily chart here, we have moved up quite close to the 50-60% retracement level at 23,000. The trend up here hasn't really signified that we're in a turn just yet for this. We do have a reasonably clear 5-wave structure here to the downside here. When I look at this here, so in this case here, I can count 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5 here for 1 and 2, and then the third wave down, a fourth wave and a fifth wave. For the triangle pattern, you know, it could be counted as wave A here, wave B here, and wave C here for wave C. So it's not impossible at this particular point in time. We have been long here on the upside here, so let's just go in and have a look at this little trend here. So the bottom low here has been a bit of a trip here. I have looked at the daily chart, and this low here is the low on the daily chart here for the physical market. So I've had to really come back and use this as 1 and ABC for 2 here, which would leave us 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 5 here for the third wave, and back for the fourth wave here, and then the fifth wave moving up through here. So you know, I could count this as wave 1 and 2 here, and then this is the third wave in here with 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 5 here for the third wave, and then third wave, fourth wave coming back, and a fifth wave moving up into this space here for this wave 3 into this wave 5 here, into this 2300 area here. So I've put the stop here because if that is breached, then we've got a larger correction unfolding at that point, okay? So because this is up for 1 and back for 2 and up for 3 here, so we'll leave the stop here and let's just see how that moves up from that particular point there. And also the Nifty here, you know, once again with this too, if I look on the weekly chart here, it's possible to have this as wave 4 here, 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 5 here. And this, you know, the Australian market's a little bit like this too, but so it's possible to have that top in place with this as wave 1 here and wave 2 here. So I'm fully aware of all of that. So I'm not, I don't stick my head in the sand. And on this chart here, I'm looking at it the same as the Nikkei here as an expanded flat. So wave 3 here, an A wave here, an A and a B and a C wave for the B wave here, and then moving down here in 5 waves, which I can count 5 waves comfortably here as well. But in the US, with this move down through here, we're also looking at this as wave 4 over here with one more move down. So that's also possible as well, and in that case here I would need to see the 50-60% breached here, and even if it did move down through here, at least we know where we were at that particular stage. If this was going to be wave 1 here to the downside, and we're looking back for wave 2 at the 50-60% retracement, we'll still have an A wave, a B wave, and a C wave here before we went down. Well, I can't put all that as wave 2 here as such, you know. So yeah, so we'll just have to see that. But our main focus is just focusing on this trend and our trades within that space. So on the 4-hour chart here, in a nutshell, we've been long here. We've taken part profit in this space here. We knew that there would be resistance here. It's also 38.2% with the also the wave 4 here. So we're going to see some softness here. So it's always important not to panic early with these things, but at the same time, we need to lock in, you know, we don't want losses expanding unnecessarily, because we can always get back in. I know psychologically it's, once you're in, it's tricky to get out and then back in again. That's just takes practice though. So from the 4-hour to the 1-hour chart here. So in this case here, I'm also not, you know, I'm not sort of happy with the count coming up here as well. But if I count it the way that I see it, I would have to count this as 1 and 2 in here. Otherwise, we'd have to look at this as, if I can just, do I have an ABC here? No, I don't. So I'll maybe have one over here. Nope. So copy this here. So it is possible to see this up there as corrective, and in that space would see this move here as an A and a B and a C wave here for the A wave, and the B wave here for this A, B, and C. And I'm kind of happy with that, calling that an A and a B here because of this 3-wave pattern and the size of this here. So yeah. And then that would leave us with 5 waves up as 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 5. So it is possible to have a top in here already for this market. That's so that is possible. So we do need to protect what we've got here. Perhaps I've got this as a little bit tight within here, and you could have that under here, but I didn't want to bring this long trade here. We've got 3 positions in here. I didn't want to get this one out of hand at all. But okay, let's just put it under here for the time being, if you got that space here, because it'd be nice to see what Friday delivers. That certainly can come down through to here. And move up from that. It may only move up to here and then come down again too. So if that moves up to here, then once the high comes in there, bring this stop up here under the 61.8% to cover that. But yeah, look, that's where we are with this. And if it does break lower, then we'd be looking for it to come into this space here before moving up. But it's also, if it's the same as the US as well, well then this would be a wave 4 in this space here, if that was going to be the same as the US. But I'm kind of just looking at it as an A wave to the top here and a B wave here and a C wave moving back up from that point there. So yeah, look, we've had our trade. I'm not clear on a lot of these wave counts, so at least we know that, and we just really need to go into strategy with these sorts of things. So yeah, let's just see if after the first 20 minutes Asia starts to stabilize and move to the upside there. That would be the main point. If we've got that trend on the Friday to the upside, then we can look at Monday following through. But if Friday's continues to move lower, then Monday's likely to follow as well. So that's why we're tightening our stops up. Alrighty, thanks for tuning in. Cheers.